What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to Life to Metal. It's time for a rock metal update. That's right, it's time for rock metal update. This is going to be all 7-inch singles, all 70s style hard rock and heavy metal bands. There's no 80s stuff in here, so most people would consider this stuff to be hard rock. If you're not into that, my next 7-inch video is going to be all, 80s and beyond heavy metal. So, but this is 70s stuff, and I know people have watched my videos before, and whenever I do a 7-inch 70s video, there's always going to be a Ted Nugent and an Aerosmith, and there's going to be, it's just AC/DC. There's just certain bands that I seem to always show in every single video. Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, AC/DC being 3 of them, but Kiss, another one, Angel. So there's a bunch of them because I love those bands, and I'm always looking for stuff from them. This particular video is going to be none of those bands that you usually see from me. There's going to be other bands that I'm very much into, but just don't show as much for several reasons. The main one, especially for this first band, being their singles are hard to find and barely show up, and when they do, they're expensive. So, but I have managed to find 3 singles from this band that are in stellar condition, and I got them all for a decent price. This first one up, The Runaways, Japanese pressing from 1977, and this has on it All Right You Guys and Blackmail. And this would have been from the first Runaways album. And then that's followed up by, oddly enough, the same year, 1977. This is from the Queens of Noise album. Again, another Japanese pressing. And we have Neon Angels on the Road to Ruin and the title track, Queens of Noise. Great picture of the band on the front. When I was very, very young, like, middle school or so, I was really into those 2 girls right there. But Cherry Curry and Lita Ford, I just always thought they were just gorgeous, both of them. So, mid-school, whatever you call it, crush. That was my crush. But in any case, the third one, this is actually after Cherry Curry left, so this would have been a pre-release single for the third album from 1977 as well. The album came out in 78, but in 77 the album, Waiting for the Night, was recorded and released in 78. This was a pre-release single for that particular album with School Days on one side and Wasted on the other. And this is this is just a U.S. pressing, I believe. Nope, I'm sorry, this is a UK pressing. Alright, that's all for the Runaways. Like I said, their stuff doesn't show up that often. They probably have maybe 10 singles from them, but great band. I've been a fan since I was a kid, so a lot of people, when they grow up, they grow out of music and grow out of bands and grow out of styles, and I don't think I ever really did. I just keep adding new stuff to it. So as you can see from the background, the massive amount of CDs behind me and whatnot. I mean, I don't throw music away. I just continue to add to finding more stuff that I love and like. So, all right, next up, massively underrated band. They were huge in the 70s. They were a stadium band, but this is Nazareth. This is the Hot Tracks EP. I believe it was, 4 or 5 songs? 4 songs. Love Hurts, This Flight Tonight, Broken Down Angel, and Hair of the Dog. This is a UK pressing on the Mountain label, and you can see here's the center label. And not only did I find that for a killer price, I also found the picture disc version of it even cheaper. It was one of those deals where I was buying a bunch of 7-inch singles from somebody, and they had that one on the list, and it was like, I don't know, very cheap, like $3-4. So I snagged it as well. So I have both versions. But here you can see the back cover and the picture of the band, the original Nazareth band. Now they're still out there touring, but I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 original members left. And they don't have Dan McCafferty, obviously. So, all right, 1973. This is from the Ras Naz album. This is a German pressing of Broken Down Angel, the B-side, and Bad Bad Boy. You're a bad, bad boy. Love that album. Ras Naz has always been one of my favorite albums from Nazareth. So, just a great album. It was one of their heavier albums. Nazareth were weird because, man, they were like, a lot of people, put him in the 70s heavy metal category, and they definitely had the 70s hard rock sound on, albums like Ras Naz and Hair of the Dog and stuff like that. But every other album, they do like a heavy album, then a more melodic, like melancholy album, then another heavy album. So they were really up and down as far as, being heavy. Anyhow, speaking of Hair of the Dog, here is a German pressing, 1975, of Hair of the Dog, backed with Sunshine. And everybody probably knows Hair of the Dog. I mean, now you're all messing with a son of a bitch. That song, that's Hair of the Dog. Get it? Son of a bitch, Hair of the Dog. Yeah. Anyhow, next one up. This is from 1977. This is a Holland pressing of Place in Your Heart and Kentucky Fried Blues, and from the Expect No Mercy album, which had some killer artwork on it. Definitely one of those more 80s style heavy metal covers. Always been one of my favorite albums from them as well, along with Ras Naz and Hair of the Dog. But yeah, Expect No Mercy's got a great cover. It's a great album. Another one I figured I bought when I was a kid in a used store and played it over and over again, so it's kind of ingrained in my memory. So anyhow, great album, Holland pressing. This is actually a Vertigo pressing. There's the center label. All right, next up, we're going into the another vastly underrated band who was much bigger in the 70s. They're actually touring right now with Saxon. This is Uriah Heep. This is Feelings and Ben Hurt. And this is a 1980 single, German, from the Conquest album on the bronze label. As you can see, I actually put the stickers on the back of it so I wouldn't forget the years or which country they came from, although I didn't catch all of them. But I try to remember to do that before the video so I don't sit here guessing, but sometimes I just don't have time or forget. But in any case, very cool single, German. Next up, an early pressing of single from them, 1972. There's a French press of Easy Livin' from the Demons and Wizard album, backed with All My Life on the Island label. This one's called The Original Double Hit, and there's several of these out there, but this is actually from 1981, though it features songs from back in 1973, 72. So you got Easy Living and Lady in Black, two of the band's bigger hits back in the day. Most people, myself included, consider Uriah Heep, along with Deep Purple and Budgie and Rainbow and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Judas Priest to be the first wave of British heavy metal. So, especially in the 70s, they had this really heavy sound. Of course, it's very different from what we call heavy now, because Uriah Heep's sound was very heavy, mixed guitars and organs. Not necessarily keyboards, but those Hammond organs that had that really heavy sound, not unlike Deep Purple. All right, next up, this was a much more melodic Uriah Heep, 1982, from the Abominog album with the Monkey Demon on the cover. I always found him to be hilarious. He's kind of an inside joke between me and a few friends, especially my buddy Trog. We always stick Google eyes on him and send him back and forth to each other all the time. Monkey Demon loves you. But in any case, this is a pre-release single, and it has a complete bio printed on it in the front and the back cover. Let me show you the back cover of this one. Usually back covers aren't that interesting. Neither is this one. It's got a small picture of the band. But as you can see, it's quite a bit of writing. But it explains how the band got back together in '81. And basically, you've got two of the members of Blizzard of Oz, which was, of course, was Ozzy's first two albums, really. The band was originally supposed to be called the Blizzard of Oz. Ended up not happening like that. But you've got Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake. Lee Kerslake, of course, was their drummer who had played in Uriah Heep before. And then Bob Daisley, who wrote most of the songs on the first three Ozzy Osbourne albums. And he wrote some of the songs on here as well. So the style is more, it's not Ozzy. It's not super, heavy early 80s metal like Ozzy. It's more, I don't want to say, it's not AOR. It's just more melodic. I really like the album. If you're going to put it in the heavy metal category, you're going to have a lot of newer metal fans just not, shaking their heads because it just wasn't that heavy, especially for 1981 and 82, excuse me, because by that time, the second round of new wave of British heavy metal was in full swing. And I kind of think that's the style that Uriah Heep was going for, but it wasn't super heavy. It didn't have that same, gritty organ sound as much as it did more of a keyboard sound. But again, I'm saying negative things, but I really do like the album. So what do we have here? That's the way that it is, backed with Hot Persuasion, UK pressing. And then also, this is called Abominog Junior, I have allergies and they're really bothering me right now, so if I sound nasally, that's why. But Abominog Jr. is a 3-song EP from the UK, and you've got On the Rebound on the A side, and the B side is Tin Soldier and Son of a Bitch. So those are the 3 tracks on the Abominog Jr. And if anybody cares, imagine this guy with googly eyes. Monkey Demon loves you. All right, sticking with Uriah Heep. This is 1986 UK pressing from the Equator album. Obviously, it's got the similar cover to the Equator, although different color. I believe the original was red. On the Portrait label, this is definitely a more melodic pop rock. I don't know, AOR rock. You know, that radio rock from the mid '80s sound. I don't dislike it, but it's definitely not heavy by any stretch of the imagination. So, Poor Little Rich Girl is the track. Back to with Bad Blood. Okay, moving on, another band. And I speak about this guy quite a bit, actually, and he is one of my favorites. I did a video a few years ago, my favorite Canadian rock albums, and one of his was my #1 pick. But this is Pat Travers. Always been a big fan of Pat Travers. My first big concert experience was seeing Pat Travers on the Black Pearl tour, opening up for Aerosmith on the Rock and a Hard Place tour in 1983. So that was a huge thing in my life. So I've been a Pat Travers fan for a long time because of it. But this is a 1976 3-song single. As you can see, it's got Stop a Smile, Magnolia, and Boom Boom, Out Go the Lights. And this cover is actually, I don't know if it looks blurry on the screen. It's not because my camera's not focusing. It's actually printed blurry. It's just not in registration. So it's kind of an interesting, cover. I've never seen one that out of focus before. And then there's the center label. I believe it's on the Polydor label, yeah. All right, Pat Travers, Snortin' Whiskey, and Statesboro Blues. This is a special U.S. pressing. It's basically a radio, promo pressing, and you can see here's the white label Polydor promo center label. Great song. I'm sure anybody who knows anything about classic rock knows that song. So, and then from the same album, this is This Love? And then Love Will Make You Strong, U.S. pressing and the Polydor label. It's funny, though, because when I think Is This Love, I know that song, but the first thing that comes to my mind is Whitesnake. Is this love that I'm feeling? You know that song? I don't know why. It just is. Anyhow, next up, Robin Trower. Another one of my favorite guitar players. Another, he's still out there doing his thing. Steeped in a lot of blues, but this is Robin Trower. A lot of people call him a Hendrix prodigy, and indeed he did have that Hendrix influence in a lot of his sound. But calling him a clone would be very misleading. But in any case, Bridge of Sighs is one of the greatest albums ever recorded, in my opinion, and I like most everything I've heard from Robin Trower. His latest album from last year made my top 30 list. That was a brilliant blues rock album. But in any case, that's not what this single is. This is from 1973 from the Twice Removed from Yesterday album. It's a white label promo, stereo, mono of Man of the World. And then this is a Jack and Jill from 1979 from the Victims of the Fury album on the Chrysalis label. You can see the center label, and this is a UK pressing, I believe. For whatever reason, I didn't write that one down. Yeah, UK pressing. And then this is a 3-song EP, Robin Trower, 1977, from the City Dreams album, UK pressing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm thinking, no, it is, which this is more unusual back then than it is today, but it's on a red, vinyl. Today you can't barely find black vinyl because everything is on these specialty colored vinyls because that's what people are into. But back then to find colored vinyl was especially on something like this was pretty unusual. So, Japanese pressing of Robin Trower from 1976, Long Misty Days album. This is Caledonia and Sailing. Again, on the Chrysalis label, you can see the label right there. And one more from Grand Funk. One more from Robin Trower, who was never in Grand Funk. Don't know where that came from. But this is Jack Bruce, Bill Lorden, Robin Trower, BLT. What it is? 1981 UK pressing, backed with I don't remember, and I've got the record in backwards, so I can't see it. Backed with Into Money, and the name of the album was also on this one was just BLT. Matter of fact, there's a very small picture right here of the album cover. And then you can see the front cover is just kind of a blow up of that album cover, which is a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich BLT. Yep, Bruce, Lorden, and Trower. So that's where the BLT comes from. I'll put that away in a second. All right, last band. Got about 7 singles from this band. Another one that I have shown in the past, one that I really like, and their singles show up a lot because they were a huge band in the early 70s. I mean, these guys would sell out stadiums, you know, in the same city multiple nights in a row. Pretty much forgotten about these days, although they're still out there touring with, I think, only one original member. But this is Grand Funk. This is Gimme Shelter. This is from 1971 from the Survival album, backed with I Can Feel Him in the Morning. Grand Funk. Great. I love the live picture there. Yeah, they were just badasses back in the day. So, and then this is same album. No, it's 1972. This is The Flight of the Phoenix, backed with, what is the B-side? Oh, Rock and Roll Soul, Flight of the Phoenix, 72 Japanese pressing. On the, you can see the center label right there. Capitol Records. Gimme Shelter. This is a U.S. pressing. I showed another. There's actually another Gimme Shelter in here somewhere. This is U.S. pressing with the original Capitol sleeve. Again, back to I Can Feel Him in the Morning. And then this one here is the same thing. Gimme Shelter. This is actually the picture sleeve version of it. So there was 2 different pressings of it in the United States. I have both of them. These are the 2 U.S. pressings. So, and yes, that is the Gimme Shelter is the Rolling Stones song that they covered. Not necessarily one of my favorite songs from Grand Funk. Actually, I like the B-side better. And then we've got We're an American Band, 1973. This is U.S. pressing, backed with Creepin'. Again, you can see the Capitol label. And another Japanese pressing. This is 1971. From All the Girls in the... What's the name of the album? All the Girls of the World Beware, I think the whole title was. Backed with Bad Times. So, Bad Times backed with Good and Evil, sorry. And then... This is a hard one to figure out the year from, considering it's the biggest type on there, 1976. Another Japanese pressing from Japan. And you've got, you've got side 1, Can You Do It? And side 2 is, I believe side 2 is, hang on a second. I think it's actually called 1976, but I could be wrong. Yes, 1976. And what about the? I could be wrong on the year on this one. I'll need to look this one up again. That 76 seems too. I think I assumed 76 because that's what the name of the song was, but I'm thinking it was actually another. It was, see here. No, actually the center ring does say 76, so there it is. So 76. I thought it was a little later than that for some reason, but I mean, these guys were huge in the, like I said, in the early 70s. So, and then the last one in this batch, this is from 1976 as well, from the Born to Die album. This is a U.S. pressing of Sally, backed with Love Is Dying. You can see the center label. So there you go. That was a huge stack. Showed quite a few in 20 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure I screwed something up there because I was trying to go fast so I could fit a lot in. Please, leave a message below. I always love talking music with you guys. I mean, let me know what you think of these bands, these releases. Do you have any of these? Anything like that. Even just say, hey. I don't care. So I appreciate y'all leaving that, leaving a message below, and I always try to respond to everybody. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. God bless, and stay strong.